I told you about 3 times that won't fuck with me, right? Umbrella. I'ma run it up and up and up. 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 Big brella grind until I build it up. Shawty pirate purpose like it's Eminem. Sliding through your city, you gon' live and learn. She gon' let me fuck cause I'm a living legend. All these
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your host, Classic. Eminent Sports Broadcasting, we in the building. I'm rocking Dolo tonight. We're just coming off the heels of the Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia fight. And I must give them a round of applause. Excellent fight. Action-packed. Undercard was a little underwhelming. But they were action-packed fights as well. But this fight lived up to the expectations. Canelo Alvarez did a good job. But in this fight, it's clear that he should stay away from David Benavidez. I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit more. We're also going to talk about the Tank Davis and David Benavidez press conference that took place same day. But before we do that, let's talk about this fight. I ended up scoring the fight 116-111. Did Canelo have an opportunity to knock Jaime Munguia out? I didn't see it. Jaime Munguia takes a really, really good punch. They both take a really, really good punch. Jaime started off strong. I gave Jaime the first round. Thought he started off strong. Canelo was doing his normal thing, reading his opponent, waiting for his opportunity to strike. And I gave him the second round. I gave Canelo Alvarez the second round. And subsequently moving forward, I gave Jaime Munguia the third round. I gave Canelo the fourth. Well, the fourth is the round that he knocked Jaime Munguia down in with the uppercut. As Canelo was changing the pace of his shots, Jaime Munguia was getting a little bit more comfortable. Canelo was throwing that lure in. Jaime took the bait. He's bringing him in nice and slow. And he was capitalizing on Jaime Munguia's comfortability in that fight. I thought he had Jaime Munguia hurt a couple times in the fight. Just finished watching Jaime Munguia's part of the press conference. I was kind of waiting for Canelo to get out there and talk. Because you know they're going to ask him David Benavidez questions. And these are questions that he really don't want to answer. But I see a little bit of slippage in Canelo Alvarez. His reflexes are not the same. The opportunities that he sees and he wants to capitalize on, you can see that he's trying to pull the trigger. He has to draw back a lot of times with his shots. Jaime Munguia touched Canelo up a lot in this fight. You know what I'm saying? At one point, I thought maybe youth was going to prevail. Jaime Munguia had him up against the ropes or he had him backed up. And he was catching Canelo with multiple jabs. You know, Canelo keeps the high guard up. But a lot of Jaime Munguia's jabs was getting through. You could see the impact on Canelo's neck because the camera was behind him. You could see it, back of his neck. You could feel it. You could see the impact. Jaime Munguia came out with a good jab. Obviously, he studied the tape. And the two losses that Canelo had was against Mayweather and Bivol. And they both sport a really, really good jab. And they were able to overcome Canelo with that punch. And he wasn't able really to get around it. And then fights that he struggled with. Erislandy Lara, great jab as well. And Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant had some success on my scorecard, even though the judges on that night didn't really give him much credit. And his jab and his movement was giving Canelo a little bit of trouble. But Canelo did a good job, man. Old champion. This was an undisputed fight. I think they said it was the first Mexican on Mexican undisputed fight since some fight in the 1970s, bro. That's crazy. But the Mexican people should be very proud of these two fighters. They showed out, man. They showed grit. They pretty much stood in the middle of the ring. And there was a lot of skills. It wasn't just rock'em sock'em robots. It wasn't just, you take damage, all right, I'm going to take damage. No. There was a lot of defense. Canelo was moving a lot. You know what I mean? Rolling with punches. That's one of the things that... Canelo is a really, really good technician, man. I've been watching Canelo fight for years. Many years. And I've rooted against him in a lot of fights. I thought he lost the first two Triple G fights. The third one, of course, he handled business. But I thought Triple G outlanded him in those fights, but that's either here nor there. Canelo Alvarez is a great, entertaining fighter. And I've been blessed to have come along in a time where he's reigned, because all he's done is give us plenty of exciting fights. Now, with that said, Father Time is undefeated. A younger Canelo Alvarez would have dispatched Jaime Munguia. When he caught him with that uppercut, he would have poured it on him and he would have got him out of there. But his punching power is waning a little bit. His accuracy is waning a little bit. Canelo Alvarez shoots at the hip a lot. He hits his opponent on the hip. A lot of times the referees don't give him warnings for it. Tonight, he got one after multiple rounds of successfully being able to execute this punch. He was able to hit Jaime Munguia on his legs multiple times. And the referee finally gave him a warning and Canelo brought the punches up. But I could see that the reflexes waning just a little bit. Right? There was opportunities Canelo had, especially once he had Jaime on the ropes within the last 2 or 3 rounds of the fight. You thought to yourself, damn, Canelo's about to pour it on him, but his stamina wasn't there. That's why he didn't want to go in there and gas out and possibly get hurt in an exchange. So he just fell back. He didn't put that pressure on Jaime Munguia when he had him on the ropes, dead to rights. Well, I wouldn't say dead to rights. Maybe that's a little exaggeration, but Canelo had an opportunity to really pour it on Jaime Munguia when he had him on the ropes. I think it was either the 10th or the 11th round, and he chose not to. I thought there were punches that Canelo felt from Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia is not a light puncher. He has a lot of knockouts. Young, fast, determined fighter. And even though Canelo wants to say that Jaime Munguia was slow and he saw a lot of punches coming, yeah. If you say you saw a lot of punches coming, you sure ate a lot of them. If you really saw them coming, your defense was great, right? But to say Jaime Munguia is that slow, is he much slower than Canelo? One good thing that I saw Canelo do, man, and I was really impressed, and it's something that he does quite often, is his change of speed. He lulls you into a comfortable situation where he hits you with multiple punches from multiple angles, changes up the punches, but he changes the speed, gives you low ball, he gives you slow pitches, and when you get comfortable, boom, he hits you with a fastball, catches you off guard, a la the 4th round where he caught Jaime Munguia with that uppercut and took him down. Now, I kind of understand, man, where a lot of Canelo Alvarez fans feel that he don't need no Benavidez in his life. Canelo has done a lot in the sport. You saw the atmosphere. A lot of people came out to see him tonight. Crowd was amazing. You know what I mean? They didn't show up until like around his fight, like, you know what I mean, the Mario Barrios fight, which Mario Barrios' performance was a little lackluster. Got the job done, but I don't think Mario Barrios is going to be a threat based on this performance tonight in the welterweight division. But the crowd was there. They showed out, dressed to impress. Beautiful looking people. They came to support Canelo Alvarez. And he didn't disappoint them. Jaime Munguia didn't disappoint. And nor did he, because they gave these people a great fight for them to watch, for them to talk about Mexican on Mexican violence. They did their thing. But Canelo Alvarez facing David Benavidez, not going to be a good look. Because David Benavidez is faster than Jaime Munguia. He's stronger than Jaime Munguia. He's more accurate than Jaime Munguia. Does he have a chin like Jaime Munguia? I'm not 100% sure, but I think he does. I think he'll be able to absorb a lot of Canelo punches unless Canelo weight drains him and gives him a rehydration clause. And it seems like David Benavidez is so desperate for the fight that he'll put himself in a perilous situation to get the fight. And then may end up regretting his decision. But if Canelo gives him a straight up shot where he makes weight and he's able to rehydrate to whatever weight he gets to, it's not going to be a good night for Canelo Alvarez. Now, like I was saying, I understand what the Canelo fans are saying when they say, we don't need to see the Benavidez fight. Canelo has done more than enough in the sport. And David Benavidez needs to prove himself and whatever. That's bullshit, right? The problem I have with Canelo Alvarez ducking David Benavidez is he's holding the belts. He's holding the 168-pound division hostage. Right? So, you know there's two killers in that division, and they're both moving up. David Benavidez and David Morrell. Right? It makes sense for these two guys to fight each other, right? They were basically both in a mandatory position for Canelo Alvarez for multiple years, and Canelo don't want to see neither one of these guys. These guys are bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, they're more athletic than Jaime Munguia, in my opinion. And I think if Canelo was to fight either one of these guys, it wouldn't end pretty for him. You may see Canelo get stopped. Now, I understand if Canelo don't want to see these guys because of his age, and he knows that these guys are an imminent threat to his throne. So if you want to avoid them, I have no problem with it. Just drop the belts. And it comes to a point where you guys got to agree with me. Canelo Alvarez should no longer be the 168-pound undisputed champion if he's unwilling to fight the top guys in the division. Now, I understand you accumulated all the belts when David Benavidez lost his belt on the scale, being the first fight from COVID. And it's all dandy. You became undisputed. But the fact that you've been holding on to all the belts and not satisfying your mandatory challengers, for them, they're not even calling the mandatories. That's how much in bed they are with Canelo. And it's cool. But being a man and being a gentleman of the sport, allow these dudes to create legacy. Drop the belt. You've done enough. Your legacy is cemented. Why would you logjam the division? Why would you even waste your time entertaining fights with Edgar Berlanga? So you're telling me David Morrell held that WBA belt for multiple years in position for if David Benavidez wasn't called, he would be next in line. David Benavidez being the number one contender, champion, interim champion at 168 for the WBC, and Morrell being the WBA regular champion for multiple years, clearly the number one guy. And as soon as he drops the belt and moves up, they call for Berlanga to be Canelo's mandatory challenger. Can't make this stuff up, man. But we gonna be fair. Let's be fair. Let's just call it down the line. I got no problem with Canelo not fighting these dudes. But just drop the belt so these guys can create legacy. Now these guys have moved out of the division, it seems like. They're gonna campaign at 175. You know what I mean? David Benavidez will more than likely be the number one contender as long as he's able to get through Alexander Gvozdyk in his upcoming fight with such opponent on the Tank Davis and Frank Martin undercard. Now we do know that the Artur Beterbiev and the Bivol fight, Dmitry Bivol fight, has been postponed because of an injury sustained by Artur Beterbiev. So we're looking forward to see when that date is gonna be set. And it seems like that 5 versus 5 should move on without that fight because it wasn't a deal breaker, right? It wasn't a make or break. That fight is excellent regardless. Now, whether or not they're going to add another fight, I'm not sure. I think they would have to, right, for it to be a 5-on-5, right? Because that fight was included in that build-up. But, yeah, man. You know, David Benavidez is one of my favorite fighters, man. He shows up. He doesn't duck no smoke. You know what I mean? Morrell's been calling for his head. And I think David Benavidez is going to be willing to accommodate him. And that's going to be a fight of the ages, man. You're going to have two young, strong fighters going at each other, and they're both going to take damage. Regardless of who becomes the victor in that fight, neither one of these fighters will ever be the same, in my opinion. So Canelo, what's next for him? I'm not interested in a Berlanga fight. I just keep it a buck. I'm not interested in a Berlanga fight. And neither should you. Berlanga has proven nothing. Berlanga hasn't even fought a top contender in the game. He's literally dodged so much smoke from Top Rank to the zone. There's dudes that he was supposed to fight Jaime Munguia instead of Canelo Alvarez. That possibly could have determined who could have got that shot. But instead, Jaime Munguia is going to fight Canelo Alvarez, and now you're going to tell me Berlanga is going to fight Canelo Alvarez without earning an opportunity? Come on, man. What are we doing? And I'm not bashing the man. Like I said, I love Canelo Alvarez, man. He's given me plenty of entertaining nights of fights. He is definitely a warrior. He's done his thing in this sport. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for this fight. But it's a fight that's never going to happen. Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez, because it shouldn't happen, in my opinion. Canelo has passed it a little bit. David Benavidez is firing on all cylinders. If Canelo was wise, he would drop the belts and let the younger fighters fight for these belts, and just campaign. If you want to fight. Now, he just had his press conference, so I'm not sure if he said anything about any retirement, because I visually can see that he's lost a couple steps. So if I can see it, I know he can feel it, because he was getting hit with shots that he normally doesn't get hit with. And I'm not sure what round it was, but there was a round where Jaime Munguia hit him with a shot, and I could have swore I saw Canelo's leg buckled. So now once Amazon allows me to get the replay of the pay-per-view, I'm going to watch the fight again sometime during the week, and I'm going to try to pinpoint that round. But I'm pretty sure somebody on the internet is going to probably already blast it and show it. But for myself, I want to see that the fight again, but I also want to pinpoint that round. Because Jaime did hit him with a shot, and I did see Canelo's leg buckle, but he recovered immediately. Right? When he took a step back, it looked a little shaky. Right? I do feel Canelo felt Jaime Munguia's power. Because there was, like I said, there was opportunities for Canelo to step on the gas, and he didn't. He was very cautious. He kept them hands up the whole fight. He ate a lot of straight shots, but they were shots that he was able to see. Canelo really didn't get hit with too many hooks in this fight. He got hit with more jabs and straight and power right hands. So he did a good job, man. I thought Jaime would have had a little bit more success, but Canelo came to play today. Definitely came to play. He wiped that sour taste a lot of people had from the John Ryder fight. And we all know that Jaime Munguia was able to get rid of John Ryder. So, yeah. So now let's move on to the the press conference today that happened between Gervonta Tank Davis and Frank the Ghost Martin and the Mexican monster David Benavidez and Alexander Gvozdyk. Man, boy, does Tank know how to sell a fight, bro. Let's just keep it real, man. Tank Davis knows how to sell a fight. He had the media captivated before and after and during. A lot of his the questions they were asking him, he was entertaining them, and everybody was happy. They were like kids in a candy store, man. Frank Martin is a fighter that he's like one of my dark horses in terms of like a fighter that he's one of my underdog fighters, but I like him a lot. I'm a big supporter of Frank Martin. Started in the game late, started boxing at a older age, right? Won some national championships coming from Indiana. Promoted by Errol Spence. And this is an opportunity that Errol Spence has, man. Errol Spence needs to really, really start focusing on promoting. If he's going to be a promoter, start focusing on promoting fighters, right? I feel like Errol Spence stripped himself of golden opportunities in this sport with that car accident. That car accident took years off of Errol Spence's career. Took away some of his reflexes. And took some of his punch resistance away. Errol Spence was still able to get a lot done in the sport. Impress and amaze a lot of us. But I think his calling card is going to be promoting because he's still a fan favorite. A lot of people love him. But he can't let this opportunity slip. I know he's still focused on his career. There's probably a couple big fights that he got still left. And I'll be shocked if Errol Spence wins too many big fights. Now, don't think I'm putting Errol Spence down. It's just a disappointment that I have in how his career is going to end up going because of said accident. If you guys have been watching my channel, you do know that Errol Spence and Deontay Wilder are like two of my favorite fighters in the last decade. When I say I ride and die with these dudes, regardless, they say they want to continue fighting, I'm riding with them, dog. Facts. These are just the facts. So, Errol Spence has an opportunity to get on a big stage and promote a big fight. Frank Martin, Tank Davis. He wasn't there today to promote the fight. but there'll be opportunities moving forward for you to be present. Now, I'm assuming that you're working out and working out the kinks and probably getting with a new trainer and working on yourself. But if you're going to take that job, being a promoter, you got to be able to multitask. So I would have expected Errol Spence to be here, promote the fight, add another element to the game. It's going to be more pay-per-views, it's going to be more money in your pocket. Let's make sense of it. Now back to Tank. Actually, let's start with David Benavidez. Benavidez coming in the press conference very respectful. Him and Gvozdyk. You know what I mean? Gvozdyk is a Ukrainian fighter, and if you guys remember, Alexander Gvozdyk is the fighter that retired Adonis Stevenson after his long reign at WBC champion in the 175-pound division. Now, let's just keep it real. Gvozdyk is a dangerous fighter. A lot of people are not giving him the credit that he deserves. This guy is an Olympian. This guy had a great amateur background, right? He's won some championships, but the thorn in his side was Artur Beterbiev. Not only did Artur Beterbiev stop him in the pros, but I think he stopped him in the amateurs as well. So this is a fighter that Alexander Gvozdyk seems like he can't match. And Artur Beterbiev subsequently is the fighter that made Alexander Gvozdyk question his place in the sport and retired. But then he came back, had some mediocre fights to build himself back up. Now he's in there with a real dog. But this is Benavidez's first fight at 175. The Mexican monster is looking to accomplish undisputed, which he's unable to do because Canelo wouldn't give him the opportunity. And let's just keep it real, man. If you guys can't see it for what it is, I don't think Canelo was going to ever fight Benavidez if Benavidez didn't lose that belt on scale. But you're gonna say, nah, Canelo would have fought him, man, because he wanted to become undisputed. So why didn't Canelo try to be undisputed at 160 when all he needed was one more belt? And that was against Boo Boo Andre. Because he probably felt like that was a style he wasn't 100% comfortable with fighting at that time. So he avoided that smoke. So I find it hard to believe that if David Benavidez wasn't the first fight coming out of COVID for the PBC and lost his belt and scale because he wasn't able to use the sauna, because they felt like the sauna would have been a breeding ground and a hub to spread COVID, he wasn't able to do his normal routine and ritual to lose the weight. So he lost his belt on the scale. If that never happened and he kept his belt, I don't think Canelo would have ever fought him. He would have just had 3 belts. Maybe he would have never even went after Plant, because if you're going to cross the street and go to PBC and fight Plant but not fight Benavidez, it would have looked a certain way. Maybe he would have stayed on that side and fought with Matchroom and just made it an issue, made it seem like it was difficult to make that fight. We'll never know. Because as it stands, he is the undisputed champion. But the facts are, he's fought lesser men that brought less to the table, when every single poll that I've ever seen in all these years since David Benavidez has been the man to fight Canelo, everyone always says that's the fight that they want to see. There was a brief moment in time where the Terence Crawford fight was able to leapfrog the Benavidez fight in popularity, but that was short-lived because Terence Crawford was unable to add to his successful victory over Errol Spence. So eventually everybody just came to their senses and realized that. And also too, the fact that Jermell Charlo had such a poor outing against Canelo, it made people question whether or not they even really wanted to see the Crawford fight. So yeah, Benavidez has an opportunity, man. The Sheik is in town. Turkey Al Sheik seems like he wants to make all the big fights, so there's gonna be no reason why that fight is not gonna be asked for very soon. As soon as these guys are able to get in the ring and clear out and clear their differences, and I'm speaking of Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, David Benavidez should get his opportunity at Undisputed, at Glory, as something that's been out of his reach for some time due to politics and unfair favoritism in the sport of boxing. Now let's get to Tank Davis, man. Let's get to Gervonta Tank Davis, because I must say, man, the young man is entertaining, man. He knows how to build a fight. And I feel like he's becoming more and more confident in himself. I feel like he feels like no one's gonna beat him. He's gonna clear all smoke. He's gonna knock out all competition. Whoever it is in this 6-fight, 7-fight deal where he says he's gonna end his career, they more than likely have these guys mapped out, and of course things are gonna change. You know what I mean? People are gonna take losses. People are gonna move up in it. Unless you let it be known to these fighters. You know what I mean? Things are gonna happen in the sport. So there's gonna be some adjustments, of course, you know what I mean? No plan in boxing ever goes exactly as planned. This is the theater of the unexpected. The sport of boxing. So, but what I'm saying is Tank's entertainment, his entertainment value has risen. His confidence has risen. He's a little bit more stuttery in my opinion when he's speaking. Be able to gather his thoughts and put it out there. But that might just be like a long career of boxing, man, anxiety and stuff like that. But I mean, the man is controlling himself well. A lot of people love him, man. They know what they're gonna get in a Tank fight. They're gonna get straight war. They're gonna get, you know what I mean, torrential warfare with Tank Davis. He don't come to hug and he don't come to play. He come to knock you out. Same thing with Benavidez. This is a great doubleheader, man. June 15th. The day before Father's Day. Unfortunately, man. I try to take... I didn't check the date. I try to log in at work and then try to request the next morning off so I can fully enjoy myself. Record late, like I'm kind of doing right now with the Canelo Alvarez. I got to go to work in the morning. And it seems like it's going to be the same situation with the Tank fight. But it's going to be balls to the wall night. It's going to be a balls to the wall day because I had to work a double and it's a Father's Day. But it's all good. It's all good. That's a fight I'm not going to miss. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to cover that fight and build and grow this channel and build this fan base. So, Tank Davis, you definitely got me intrigued. You got a lot of people intrigued already. I'm already getting text messages from my casual friends. Ask me what I think about the fight. Who is Frank Martin? Is he any good? Yeah, he's good. He's really good. Is he on Tank's level? We're going to find out. But do remember, Frank Martin did beat Ortiz in the amateurs. Virgil Ortiz. So the man got skills. The man won national championship. You know what I'm saying? He won national championship, Golden Gloves or something like that. And that's starting at the age of 17. Or a little bit younger than that, right? Tank said 17, but I think it was like 16 or something like that. He didn't correct Tank, but he started late. But some people are just naturals, and he seems like he's just a natural athlete. So the boxing just came to him normally. Clearly, he obviously knows how to fight to start boxing at that age and to accomplish what he's accomplished. Now, Shakur Stevenson has been throwing shots at Frank Martin because he's a little butthurt that Frank Martin didn't take the fight with him and instead is fighting Tank, right? But that was a while ago. Frank Martin probably could have got another fight in, right? But you got to weigh the pros and the cons. You could have possibly fought Shakur, win, lose, or draw. You lose, your stock probably drops a little bit. Now, you wait a little bit longer, but you got the Tank fight, right? Now, as long as you're getting a split on that pay-per-view, regardless of what the percentage is, right? You getting reports are that he's getting $200,000 more than what he would have gotten if he would have fought Shakur, right? And you say, damn, nigga, you waited all that time for $200,000 more, but what about the pay-per-view buys? Right? We don't know how much Tank, what's going to be the residual effects of that Ryan Garcia fight where Tank did 1.2 million. And now I've seen some reports that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney did 1.5. So subsequently, a lot of that fan base could have been from Ryan Garcia in the Tank fight. But as long as there's some carryover, there's going to be a lot of green to calculate at the end of the night. And not only that, but you also add the Mexican Monster, who's going to bring his fan base and his Mexican support to the card as well. So, man, I commend these guys, man. I commend the PBC for putting this card together. And I'm looking forward to it. It was the press conference was the same day as the Canelo fight. That's why I chose to discuss it today. You know what I mean? It was, it made sense. It was smart to piggyback off of the fight, and also too to build excitement for fighting. Probably made a lot of people order the pay-per-view, because I must admit I didn't really get a lot of a buzz for this fight. But you know what I mean? A lot of my friends are urban. You know what I mean? A lot of black and white friends, Hispanic friends as well. But a lot of people don't really check for Canelo like that in that group of people. You know what I mean? They more like check for Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, Devin Haney, a lot of the casuals, the current casuals. You know what I mean? And a lot of the current so-called boxing fans. They're checking for a lot of the younger fighters. You know what I mean? They know Canelo's great. They probably watch him fight a bunch of times. But they're not really checking for him like that at current state. So I'm very curious to see what the pay-per-view numbers would do. But it's going to be heavily supported by Mexicans. Now I'm a black Jamaican dude. Big ups. Big ups to Yad. Saying. And I ordered the pay-per-view. I'm a boxing fan. Regardless of what the skin complexion is. What's your nationality? If it's a good fight and it's worth the dollars and it's a competitive matchup, I'm in. I want to watch it. I want to absorb it. I want to become more in tune with the sport of boxing. And I felt like that was accomplished today. Now, there was a lot of stuff that was getting done, so I didn't really get to focus too much on the undercard. But I'll be able to absorb that a little bit better during the week. And more likely be able to talk about it throughout the weeks moving forward. But yeah, so we bounced from one pay-per-view. We look forward to another. We got Vasily Lomachenko versus Kambosos next week, so we're gonna start talking about that. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves pull off a stunner and upset the defending champion Denver Nuggets, so we're gonna cover that as well. Hopefully I get CT back in the building so we can chop it up on that NBA shit, you know what I mean? You know what we're doing. You know what we're looking forward to. Eminent Sports Broadcasting. I'm Classic. Great night of boxing. Great press conference. Tank Davis. Frank Martin. David Benavidez. Alexander Gvozdyk. I'm curious to see what the rest of the undercard is going to look like. Canelo Alvarez did his thing. Showed us why he is one of the faces of boxing. Jaime Munguia had plenty of opportunities to do a little bit more, but he felt Canelo's power, so he was a little hesitant. Canelo felt his power, so he was a little hesitant. And there was one knockdown in the fight, but great fight. They both stood in the middle of the ring. They both evaded punches. They both picked their spots. And they didn't pussy away, man. They fought. These motherfuckers fought, man. And they both get another round of applause and mad respect. I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate y'all as well. The fans. Watching Eminent Sports Broadcasting on his journey. And also, too, man, shout out to Los, man. Free Los. You know, my longtime co-host had to go turn himself in and do a little stint. But we're going to rock out. We're going to support until he gets back. Because trust me, I need him, man. I need to bounce off of his brain as well, because it just makes the show a little bit better. But support your boy Classic. We're going to keep building until that time comes again. Eminent Sports Broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. And we out. Peace. See you on the next one.